All right, let's talk about something that's at the absolute heart of any database, data manipulation language, or DML. If you think about querying data as just asking questions, DML is where you start changing the answers. This is how you actively go in and shape the reality that's stored inside your database. So let's get into it.
Okay, first things first, we've got to get our terms straight. You've got DDL, which builds the structure. Think of it like building a cupboard or making the blank pages in a notebook. But then you have DML, which is our focus today. DML is all about the stuff inside. It's putting things into the cupboard. It's writing on the pages. It's the language of action.
So our story is going to unfold in a few acts. And Act 1 is the birth of data. This is all about using the insert command to bring brand new information into the world.
At its core, insert is just incredibly simple. The absolute best way to think about it, you're just adding a new line to your notebook. That's it. A new row, a fresh piece of data that literally didn't exist a second ago.
Now, in the real world, you're rarely inserting data just one row at a time. That's not very efficient. The real power comes from things like multi-row inserts, which are just dramatically faster. Or my personal favorite, the insert select. This thing is so clever. It lets you run a query, maybe to find all your top customers, and then dunk those results directly into another table. It's kind of like photocopying pages from one notebook and pasting them right into another. But what happens when you try to insert a record that might already be there? You could get an error, or even worse, create a duplicate. This is where this really smart concept called an upsert comes in. It's a mix of update and insert. The logic is simple. If the record is new, you insert it. But if it's already there, you just update it. It's a fantastic way to keep your data clean.
And that's a perfect lead-in to Act 2, changing and syncing data. Because, let's be real, data is almost never static. It's always evolving. So here, we're going to look at how to keep it fresh using update and merge.
So, what's an update? Well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You're not adding a new line to your notebook this time. You're finding a line that's already written and changing something on it. Maybe you're fixing a typo. Maybe a customer's address changed. You're just hitting the edit button on your data.
And here's what that looks like in practice. You say update a table. You set a new value for a column, and then, and I cannot stress this enough, you use the where clause to pinpoint exactly which row you want to change. If you mess this part up, well, you're in for a very bad day.
So listen up, this is critical. I need you to burn this into your brain. An update command without a where clause will not give you an error message. It won't ask if you're sure. It will just happily, obediently change every single row in your entire table. It is the #1 oh no moment for pretty much every new developer, and it is so avoidable. Always use where.
Okay, so if update is like a targeted surgical edit, then merge is more like a full-on synchronization. Imagine you have two notebooks, one with new info and your main one. Merge compares them. If a line from the new notebook is brand new, it gets added. If it already exists in the main one, it just gets updated. It's really the ultimate tool for keeping two sets of data perfectly in sync.
And that brings us to our final and maybe most dramatic act, the end of data. The stakes are definitely highest here as we look at two incredibly powerful and very different commands for getting rid of data: delete and truncate.
So how do you actually remove data you don't need anymore? Well, the database gives you two main tools for the job. And yes, they both remove data, but they do it in ways that are just worlds apart. Picking the wrong one can have some pretty serious consequences.
I think the best way to explain the difference is with an analogy. Think of delete like a pencil with a really good eraser. It goes row by row, carefully erasing only the specific lines you tell it to. Truncate, well, truncate is like grabbing the entire page or even all the pages and just ripping them out of the notebook in one go. It's brute force, it's all or nothing.
So let's break that down into the professional details. Delete is precise, right? It lets you use a where clause. It's also way safer because it logs every single row's deletion. That means you can usually undo it with a rollback. Truncate is more of a blunt instrument. No where clause is allowed, and it's usually impossible to roll back. But because it does almost no logging, it is lightning fast. So use delete for surgery and truncate for total demolition.
Okay, so that brings us to our epilogue, the professional's safety net. Now that we know how to create, change, and destroy data, let's talk about how we do it without causing a total catastrophe.
The single most important safety net you have is called a transaction. It's just a beautiful concept. A transaction lets you bundle a bunch of DML statements together into one single all-or-nothing package. You can run an insert, an update, and a delete all at once, and if any part of it goes wrong, you just issue a rollback, and poof, it's like none of it ever happened. It is the ultimate undo button.
So here they are, the 4 golden rules for safe DML. Number 1, before you ever run an update or delete, write it as a select statement first. See exactly what rows you're about to change. 2, always wrap your changes in a transaction. 3, be completely obsessed with your where clause. Make it as specific as humanly possible. And 4, log your changes so you have a record. And if you follow those 4 rules, you will automatically avoid these classic painful mistakes. That dreaded update without a where, using the slow delete command to empty a huge table when truncate would be instant, inserting millions of rows one at a time like a snail, and of course, forgetting to use that transaction safety net.
And that's our deep dive into DML. I just want to leave you with this one final thought. Select queries are passive, right? They ask questions about the world. But DML commands, insert, update, delete, they don't ask, they act. They change reality itself. So please, handle them with care.